Alright, so my name is Cesar, and this is Felix, and so we're going to talk about prayer, kind of go into what it is. And so one question that came up was, why should I care what God has to tell me if I think I'm a good Catholic? And so that's me thinking about it into my own life. I grew up going to church like everybody else, but I had it more. I didn't really care. I was more of just something I had to go every Sunday. I didn't really have a choice. I couldn't fake sick. I couldn't not go. I had no choice, so I was kind of forced to. And I got bored during the readings. I got bored during it. I would fall asleep. I would get in trouble. I'd get smacked sometimes. But once I got closer, by doing my first communion, I started to engage more. So I would still, kind of get distracted, because at the time I had a lot of friends that I knew from the classes, and I had a lot of school friends that lived in the area. And so I kind of got distracted by turning around, looking behind, looking at the roof and the window. I just got distracted. And so once I passed my first communion, I started, in the process of first communion classes, for me it was more learning, the Bible, reading off of it, practicing, in prayers, Our Father, a lot of individual prayers. And so knowing that I would have to practice on my own, I kind of started doing it at night during church. Sometimes in the morning I wasn't really fully praying, it was like when I wanted to. And so once I passed my first communion, I was going at this church, Santa Rita's, and I was there for like another year. I didn't transfer, but I moved areas and everything, and I started coming to this church. Once I came here, I started to pray more. I started to connect more. I was thinking, what's the whole point of coming to church if I'm not really doing anything? I'm just sitting there getting bored, listening to the father and deacon speak, and I'm just dozing off into deep sleep, or I'm playing with my brother, I'm messing around, getting in trouble. Like I found no use to it. So then I just decided to pray and see what would I get out of it. Started my first confirmation class, and it was more Bible reading, understanding it more. And so I feel like that got me more into praying. And praying isn't just something where you just read off a Bible or you just say the Our Father. It's a conversation you have with God that is really deep. You could talk about anything, really, asking for a favor, talking about your day, kind of going into a deep conversation. Like if you're, it's a weekend and you want to play video games with your friends, and you call them and you're texting or whatever, and you're like spending all those hours texting or calling, that same effort is kind of the same effort you put into talking with God and praying. It's that same concept that you want to talk to Him for hours, and you want to have that relationship to the point where you know that even if life isn't as good in your thought, you have Him to talk to, you have Him supporting you, you have Him by your side. So that's just a little concept that I would think sometimes. And so during games, before games, I would pray, for a good game, for at least not injuries, I would just pray for a really good match. And you're not always gonna get what you pray for. It does take time. It does take a lot of praying to get what you want, if that's what you think. But in reality, it's just a deep conversation you want to have with Him to grow your relationship, to grow your connection with God, and to have that special connection with Him. And so, for me, it takes my own space, which is, peace and quiet. I'm just by myself in my thoughts, and I just pray, for anything really, just, good health for my family. I have conversations with them sometimes when I'm not feeling right, or when I feel like things aren't going my way. For most of us, it's probably, tests or something the next day that's really big, and so you just want to pray that everything goes well that day. So for me, that's kind of something I do. So I ask, what is prayer? Again, prayer isn't just saying a prayer and saying amen. It's just a deep conversation you want to have with him and something you want to think about so you can grow your relationship with him. And it doesn't take that much time, it could be, you could literally pray anywhere. So just kind of take time out of your day. The same effort you put into texting and calling a friend is basically the same thing you want to do towards talking with God. You want to put, you want to have time out of your day. You want to stick to a daily schedule where, you can talk to him and pray with him and just have that special connection with him. And I think that's something that we could all do to give and have a stronger connection with him.
Thank you. For anyone that plays a sport, have you ever looked at someone you look up to in that specific sport and try to copy everything they do, whether if it's their moves, training exercises, or basically wanting to be like them? So for example, for me, when I was at 10, 12 years old, around that time, I would go to YouTube in my little laptop that I had when I was a little kid, and I would search up this one player. His name is Neymar Jr. Some of you may know him. And I would look up Neymar Jr. Compilation highlights or skills or whatever. And every day, I would just look at the same video over and over. And I would go to my backyard, grab a ball, and I try to copy every single thing he does. Every day. I was motivated. I wanted to be like him. And every day, backyard. Till this day, I still can't do what he does, but it's whatever. I'll improve. But that's the same thing we should do when we look at Jesus pray. Jesus Christ is the perfect example of how prayer should be done. The way we study the greatest athletes or minds to ever exist should be the same way we study how Jesus prays. And the Bible is the perfect place to begin for that study. For example, in Mark chapter 1, verse 35, it tells us that Jesus prayed very often, every day, day and night. And he also prayed in quiet places where he can calm himself and truly have a genuine conversation with God. Luke chapter 6, verse 12 tells us how Jesus prayed before making big decisions. John chapter 11, verses 41 to 42 tells us how Jesus prayed with total trust in the Father. And finally, Matthew chapter 26, verse 39 tells us that Jesus prayed even when it was hard. The day before Jesus was died or Jesus was crucified, he still prayed to God the night before, showing that even in hard times, it's still important to pray and leave it to God. Whatever he has in plan for you will be good. These verses show us the different qualities or fundamentals, you can say, that Jesus had when praying. The first quality was regularity. Praying should be done every day to the point it becomes routine. It doesn't matter if you don't pray now, just start praying in the morning or at night, or if you play a sport before a game, you can pray, ask for a good game, good health, bless your teammates and stuff. And if you think you don't have time, you do. You just suck at time management, but it's okay. The next quality would be to put your complete trust in the Father. Give him your complete trust and he will deliver. The second to last quality is to be honest and surrender to the Father. Be honest with your prayers. The prayers between you and the Father and no one else. And finally, the last quality would be the desire to be close to God. Actually wanting to pray to him and talk to him. These four qualities show us what prayer should look like when we pray. And now that we know these qualities, our goal is to apply them to our prayers. We should idolize Jesus just as we idolize your favorite athlete or artist. So I'll leave y'all with this one question. If Jesus, the Son of God, made prayer a priority in every part of his life, how much more should we?
So it's back to the same question, what is prayer? And, again, prayer is something we take in mind. And it's not just some words you say and, you expect something to get out of it. Or, sometimes it takes you a lot. It could be deep, or it could be, a simple favor. It just is something you should consider doing daily and trying to make you and that relationship with him stronger. Again, it really should be at least daily, either before food or at night, in the morning, whenever you can. But honestly, always make sure you have time for him, because it does take time to get back into his place, into his heart. You should always try talking to him no matter what, because he will be there by your side. He is like your best friend. He is a person you should be able to talk to for anything. If you don't really trust anybody, he's your person to go to. Same thing with sports. You want to do good before a game. You want to do good before anything. You want to make sure that you ask him first for that strength, for that courage to do well, and to make sure that you come out safe. Think of God, again, like your best friend. You always want to be with him. You always want to have that conversation with him. So, it could be anywhere, honestly. Again, and for me, it's a place where I find myself in a quiet place where I'm calm. I'm in a dark, path or whatever. I'm just gonna pray, because honestly, the best thing you could do is pray for things to get better. Pray that he sticks by your side no matter what you go through, no matter what decisions you make. You always want to think ahead, and you want to make sure that talking to him won't affect your relationship with him, because your actions can cause a lot of bad things. And praying could either be, again, a small communication, saying a prayer before bed, after bed, during breakfast or dinner or anything. Just, you always want to make sure you talk to him. So just try to make that special connection with him stronger, and always find a special place in your heart to have him, because as soon as you let him go, it's not going to be easy to have him back. It's like for me, when I go through a hard time, or when I'm like really down and I don't really want to talk to anybody, the only person I truly talk to is Felix. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I have gone through one of the worst years in my freshman year. By far, one of my hardest years. I lost a lot of family members. I wasn't doing good in school. I was really not having it at all. And again, that's when I started praying, But before that, I went straight to Felix. I'd call him, bug him, and I didn't even have my phone, so I don't know how I communicated with him, to be honest. It was very bad. But I found a way to talk to him, and so that's the point I'm trying to make. No matter what you go through, no matter how deep or how good it could be, you always want to try having at least a small conversation with him, because knowing that he's there for you, knowing that he will have your back no matter what. He's a person you can go to. He's the person that can bring you joy just like a best friend would. And he's just the person who will listen to you through anything. He is not a judging person. Again, nobody is perfect in this world except for him. So he will know what is good, what is bad, and he will help you and guide you to that perfect path. Thank you.